In Iraq and Syria,
President Erdogan, but how do businesses on the ground feel about Turkey's future? I spoke with the chief executive officer of Ustaoglu Mining and Construction, who's also the president of the American-Turkish Chamber of Commerce, and I asked him if he was concerned about the slower growth we've been seeing in the country.
We have been growing quite rapidly in the last 10 years, and especially for the last 3 years of Erdogan government. And nowadays, the economy is a little slowing down, you're right. And we should be expecting to see growth rate of 3%, 3.5% in the next few years.
This is a difficult time because of the unrest in Iraq, which could last a few years. You have the challenges to the south in Syria, and Europe is slowing down again. Where do you get your export growth?
Well, the neighboring countries in southern part of Turkey, Iraq and Syria, was our main partners for exports in the old days. And actually being the gateway to the Middle East markets, going through Syria, Turkey was exporting to almost a dozen countries. You're right, it stopped, and now European Union is going through some recession. And hopefully the United States and European Union is working on TTIP, Transatlantic Trade Investment and Partnership Project. Turkey is partner and exporting to both European Union and United States.
Years ago, though, Mr. Erdogan was promising this great growth to the Middle East and tilting south to Africa. Africa's still in play, but the Middle East looks very chaotic. This is really going to undermine the prospects for the next few years, though.
Of course, after this Arab Spring, Northern Africa, where Turkey had so many contractors in Libya, in Egypt, and Algeria, this also didn't help the Turkish economy. You're right. And I hope in the near future all these conflicts will resolve, and again Turkish contractors will take their place in those countries, in Northern Africa especially.
You've had Prime Minister Erdogan in office for nearly a dozen years. He could be in power for another 10 years.
Yeah.
Does this not concern you that there's a centralization of power under one personality and one individual?
Well, not really, because if you look at it, Turkey had its best time in terms of economics and social welfare. The last 12 years, since November the 3rd, 2002, things are really growing. Good track record of a dozen years, as you say, 12 years of managing the country in terms of social welfare, economics, and relations with Europe and the United States. I think Mr. Erdogan was given a chance to see what happens in his presidency.
It's interesting to note that the ratings agencies, particularly Fitch and Moody's, are putting a question mark over domestic political challenges. Do you think that's fair by the rating agencies?
I don't think so. I don't agree with those. If you look at the Turkish economy, we have our own dynamics, and if you look at the production, it's increasing, and unemployment rate is not so bad, and we have a 29-year-old of 29 years old of an average age. It's a big consumer market, and so rating institutions, I don't understand why they are trying to reduce the ratings of Turkey. I don't know.
CEO of Ustaoglu Mining and Construction, Beşir Ustaoglu, on the more challenging times in Turkey in terms of economic growth. Up next, an in-depth look at Turkey's neighbor Iraq and how ISIS has quickly established a black market network for oil.